Good evening. This is the Nickie V. Smith Show. How you guys doing today? I really pray that you have had a wonderful week in spite of anything that might have tried to stop you. And if you did not have a good week, then I tell you what, reach your higher power, whatever that is. Y'all know I don't preach because that's not my thing. If you believe in Hare Krishna, if you believe in Buddha, if you believe in Jesus, whatever you believe in, reach up for it. Reach to the sky so that you can claim yourself a beautiful week for next week and this week, okay? Okay. Now, today, we have a special dynamic guest. I'm anxious to get right to him. He has been fantastic to know. I'm learning him. We met in, and I want to call the name of our company that we're both friends in. It's called Defining Moments, and it is a author's training course under Melanie Warner. And so if you guys decide that you want to write a book, you go in there, you go for the gusto, and you tell them that you heard it on the Nickie V. Smith Show, okay? Okay. My guest tonight, folks, is Nigel Smart. Nigel is a PhD, but more than that, Nigel is a #1 best-selling author. And we come from the same tribe. And I think he's fantastic to get to know as a person, as an author, and even some of his private life as a father. Let's all clap hands for Nigel Smart. Yes. My show is fun. Hi, Nigel. How you doing?
Hey, Nickie, how you doing?
I'm doing.
You've got some palm trees there behind you. It looks nice.
Thank you. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm fabulous. Life has never been better, and there's just so much going on in the world that's good, in spite of the things that we all know about that we won't talk about on your show.
Right.
But no, life's good. I'm blessed. I've had a wonderful year, and as Ronald Reagan used to say, the best is in front of us.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That is such a positive attitude to have. Audience, today we're going to visit with Nigel as long as possible because he's a very busy man, but he took time to be on the show, and I'm very grateful for that. Okay, now I want you to know about Nigel. Nigel, I got to tell you, the research shows that you and I have so much in common. No wonder we ended up in the same author's tribe. And I'm going to tell you what it is. I found out that now you like to scuba dive. I do. You do?
I love it. Yeah.
Yes.
I love it. My favorite place is down in the Caymans. I love the ridges there, and it drops off 7,000 feet. If you hang off the side there, I like to be in a place where there's an element of danger, but you're safe. So if you hang off the reef, you know you've got 7,000, you've got a mile of water underneath you, but you only have to flap a couple of times with your fins and you're back on the top. So it's not like that you're going to float away and join the Titanic or anything like that below. But it's the best place because most people don't want to be there because it is scary, but as long as you behave yourself and be proficient with your techniques, it's where all the fish come by. It's where the rays come by. It's where the sharks come by too to have a look at you.
Oh, wow.
So if you really want to see the big game, just hang off the reef 5 or 10 feet and wait, and they'll come and buy you. So I love that.
Oh, that's fantastic. You're an adventurous man. I can't be the scuba diver type. I would really be boring in that area because I don't swim well, but I'm going to take me swim lessons because I'm not going to let it beat me. I'm going to take swim lessons. But I did. That's not what we have in common. I did find that out about you, though. What we have in common is you are a third Dan in Taekwondo,
I am.
third degree black belt. I am a first degree black belt. I also,
Congratulations.
yeah, for years. I also was in Kempo, which is
Uh-huh.
a type of karate. And I was a street fighter because, Nigel, I had to, live. I had to live, and I had to support myself and, as a self-healing for being sexually abused.
Yes.
It was
Yeah,
horrible, but it's making up now because I'm able to help others, and I love it.
absolutely.
Yes, and so as a street fighter, I had to feed 8 kids. Well, 8 of us all together with me, and so we have that love of the arts in common. I loved it, I loved it, Nigel. But I had to tame the street fighter.
Right.
If that was the beauty of going there, and I went when I was 38 years old. That's when I started going. That's late, but
Yeah.
I was good, baby, and I enjoyed it. However, I was, like I said, I went to not self-destruct, Nigel,
Right.
because I was really out there, and that's all I knew. But you know what? I'm moving forward now, and that's what counts. And
It gives you great self-control. It
yes,
gives you great peace of mind. Everybody that's a lay person tends to think of martial arts in terms of like special forces or commandos or fighting. But when you're in it, you know that it's actually a defensive, it's actually a control mechanism. And the senseis always tell us, if you were in a fight, to actually run away. Well, not run away, but to back off, not to seek fights, but
right,
to defend yourself. Um, I
exactly.
mean, it's a technique that's very powerful and has been used obviously in the military and elsewhere. But really, in terms of the sport, I love the kind of Olympic ideal and that side of it, and I love watching it on the Olympic Games.
I
I
did too.
love the combat. I love the idea of doing patterns. It's very artistic, a bit like gymnastics, but it's also, I love the combat. I like to spar with people, and then I like to do board breaking. I think it allows you to again focus your aggression, your power on a piece of wooden board,
Uh-huh.
and it allows you to demonstrate your technique in a tangible way because you break the board.
Yes, yes, you do. And you're talking about katas when you say, let's do different moves. That's different katas, and I
Yeah.
love it. I loved it. And mine, like you said, see, a lot of people in America misuse it in a bully way, and it's not that. It's supposed to be an art that helps you to be able to walk away, as you meant
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
able to walk away, and that's what I had to do because as I said, I was an angry young woman growing up. And so, but I'm so grateful to be to move past that. And that was some, you like vintage cars. You love driving. I'm looking at my notes, honey. I'm getting better. Just hang in there with me.
I do.
Yes, you do.
I love the old cars. I love the old cars from the 50s and 60s and the early 70s. I love cars anyway, and I love that the whole car thing, which is like in America is more than anywhere else. Although around the world it's big too, but here in America it has an order of magnitude extra in terms of
Yes, it does.
the participation. But yeah, I've got a few English sports cars that I've bought or renovated. I do actually like to buy junky cars and then spend 3 or 4 years renovating them and then driving them. But I do have a 1956 Austin Healey, which I prior to my divorce, I used to race several times a year, but I'm hoping to put that back together this year and get out this year. Having a divorce only 6 years ago really crimped things, as I'm sure you appreciate.
Yes.
It wasn't
Yes.
the thing that was foremost in my mind. And so I put it on the shelf for a while until I could get the rest of my life back together.
Okay.
And now it's really busy, as you know, because of the things that we have done together in writing our books and creating coaching and courses and everything that's come out of the fact that we were called. We went through a bad experience. We got called to help other people and to serve. And that has been one of the greatest revelations for me, as I know it has been for you, to turn, what has become, to quote Jenna Kutcher, who says, I'm turning our messes into our message.
Yes.
And I think that's a beautiful statement. That's a beautiful way of crystallizing what we've done, rather than sitting and crying in the corner and saying, pity me, doing the pity party
Right.
thing.
Right.
We've said, no, we're not doing that. We're better than that. We're not going to be beaten. And in a small way, I think we hope that we set an example to other people that maybe for whatever circumstances, they haven't been strong enough, or they haven't had the leadership, or they haven't had the role model to say, yeah, you can do this too. And I think all of us that we know that are all #1 authors in our author group, every person in our group, which is a testimony, I think, to Melanie and that whole group that we're
Yes,
part
it
of.
is. Yes, it is. That's why I named out her company.
Yeah, but that whole, that whole ethos of, look, this is our tribe. We are similar types of people from all different walks of life, but we have that inner passion, that inner drive to say, no, there's more. There's much more to me than what I have ever been recognized to be. And but I'm not gonna just do it for me. I'm gonna put it out there. Are there benefits to us personally? Of course, like there is whenever you do anything. But I think that through the things that we've done, we've started to touch people, and we've started to get introduced to new people. Your own circumstances here is a wonderful example of that you have this show now, which again, I believe has been your reward for persistence, your reward for your hard work, and your reward for the fact that you've been vulnerable enough to talk about what has been a very sensitive issue. For me, talking about my divorce when everybody said Nigel's a great success was very, very difficult for me. But Melanie said to me, you're selfish if you don't help people, because you have knowledge, you have things. People are amazed at how far and how quickly you've kind of come back from being beaten down and wrecked. And she said to me, you have to write a book, you have to get out there, you have to sell your message, because there's so many people that are struggling. There are people that are, especially guys, vets, committing suicide because they can't handle the pressure of being at home. They don't have that proverbial person to put their arm around them and say, it's okay. This is how you do it. I think the military people are particularly, they've been in a system all their lives, and they've been shown being part of a brotherhood or a sisterhood, and then they come home probably with PST or an injury, physical injury, as well as PST, which clearly is an injury too. But they don't have any system now. They don't have the support mechanisms. And I think one of the things that my experience, it's not just about divorce and how recovering from divorce, but it's applying those principles to anybody that is in a distressed situation. Like
I think I agree with you, Nigel. I didn't mean to cut you off. I want to I want to piggyback on what you're saying, because that is something I admire about you very much so. One thing, you're very honest and open, and I appreciate that. And you did, unfortunately, have 2 divorces. And I do believe, Nigel, that you are such an adventurous man. You are such an outgoing person that when and if somebody else come in your life and you guys become a good match, I believe they will never see you as boring. And if they're your support system, you and them are going to be awesome. You guys, Nadia wrote a book, and I have to say, Our Tribe by Melanie Warner. I want to give her kudos, even though she doesn't know that I'm advertising her today on my show, but that's okay. She'll be all right with it. She's great. Her passion is what sells and get people like Nigel Smart and Nickie V. Smith on the show, on her team, I mean. And her passion for her life and her story and how it can help others. I think that is what is making her grow in leaps and bounds like she is. And it is attractive because it attracts winners, people who are serious about winning and helping others. It would be very selfish of Nigel to keep his secret and not help anybody. Now, Nigel's book. Now, can you flash your book for a minute? I want to talk. Can you hold it up for me while I talk? Back it up a little bit. Back it up so they see the whole book good. Nigel is the fella that got divorced. But Nigel has 6 children. Nigel is the kind of man that is a good dad, a wonderful dad. Not those deadbeats that don't do anything, okay? Nigel is the kind of man that loves his family. Not only does he love his family, he internalized the pain that it took for him to realize that through a divorce, it's always hard on everybody, but through having a divorce, he had to come up with strategies for fathers. Now, what makes him so unique is we don't think about the fathers. We always think about the women, because most of the time the children go to the wife or the woman. But we got some guys out there like Nigel that are loving their families, and they are mentally, physically, emotionally losing out when they are not with their children. Okay, so when you got somebody that thinks that much of their children and then come back with a strategy to teach others, not just, well, he teaches men, and that's the kudos right there. He teach men how to bounce back. And not only he'll use it for women, he's not limiting himself, but Nigel, I am so pleased and proud of this book because I never thought of the men either. Pull it on up again. I need to see it. I want them to see it.
Yeah.
Okay, this is Bouncing Back. Read the title for me, Nigel.
It's Bouncing Back from Divorce with Vitality and Purpose. It's a strategy for dads. And I'll tell you a little bit, Nickie, about the title. You know all the things about how we choose titles and how we choose the covers and everything. For me, it was about, okay, you can get through a divorce, but you don't just want to get through it. I mean, I talked to a lot of other guys, and I've been helping guys on some of these Facebook type or Instagram type groups.
Mm-hmm.
And they got through their divorce. I mean, I had a bunch of them this week going at it, very, very angry, not in a happy place. And they've got through it, but they're not full of energy. they don't have a good outlook on life. So, and they're lacking in a purpose now for their life, other than they're going to go out and, you know, be all about themselves. And yes, you know, after you rebuilding your life, it is about you. It is your life. It is about you. But the thing I learned pretty quickly is you need to have a purpose. And if you have a purpose that's bigger than yourself, it does actually help you heal your own situation. But the fact that you can, as Melanie has shown me, and as Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi and these other coaches that we all have shown us, is if you help other people out of your bad experience, it actually enriches your life too, because now you've given something and helped somebody else. And I think the one thing that we all know is it's always nice to receive, but when you give and you see the joy that that creates, it's so much sweeter. So my goal was bouncing back from divorce. Okay, that's a, you know, that's a title. But I wanted people to be vital. I wanted people to have energy. I wanted people to have purpose. So that's where the vitality, I wanted to be people with full of life. I didn't want them to just emerge from their divorce kind of like dead as an empty shell. I wanted them to say, no, okay, this happened. But look, these are all the things that I can do now. This is what I'm going to do. Hey, you know, I've maybe lost some of the shackles. Maybe this is a gift. Indirectly, maybe this is a gift. Maybe if you believe in a creator, whatever that is, because obviously we have many denominations here in the United States, as well as agnostic people. But if you believe in something, then I think that the fact that you feel that you can do something for somebody else, the fact that you can build again, the fact that there is an additional piece of your life that you can now create, that you can craft, that you have control over, that you can design, Nickie. Think about that. You want to design? What do most people do with their lives? They have whatever shows up on every day. Yeah. What if you got up in the morning and said, you know, I'm going to intentionally do this, this, and this to try and push things, push your life, push your things in a certain direction. So if we have intention and then we marry that up with healthy habits that force us maybe to exercise, that maybe create the right energy level within us, either using affirmations, maybe visualization of what do I want my day to look like? What a powerful sort of forward, you know, don't you think that you would be in a much better place?
Absolutely.
When you interact with people, Nickie, in your daily job or whatever it is you're doing. And that's what I put in here as some clues. That was the start. And then hopefully people will seek me out and say, hey, that's pretty cool. What's next? What more do you have? Because yeah, there is a lot more. And it's a case of building on a foundation and then building and building and building. And the thing that I want your viewers to understand is you never reach the point where you stop. This is a lifestyle.
That's right.
This is a lifelong process.
That's
you
right.
should always be working on yourself, because tomorrow you can always be better than you were today. And your future days are not necessarily determined by what happened yesterday. You have control to change things. And I encourage people to change their future and don't have it dictated by whatever trauma has gone on in the past. Goodness, your story, if there is a story, and we're all aware of you in our author group, your story is so powerful. I mean, compared to mine, so powerful that it makes you think, goodness, Nickie can do that. If Nickie's doing this, if Nickie has been hurt that way and she's still got fire in her belly, she's still got purpose, she's still got vitality.
Thank you.
Then everybody else should be able to look at you or look at circumstances like this and say, I can do that. I want
Right.
people to say, I can do that, Nigel. I can do that too.
That's
Will
right.
you help me? Will you show me? Absolutely.
Yes.
These are gifts that we've been given, and we are duty bound in whatever format presents itself to us. Like, you've got this format. We've both written these books.
Yes.
I think we're duty bound to put the word out, because there are not enough leaders around. There are not enough people. There are a lot of people in power, but they're not leaders. Goodness, we're seeing that in the world today.
Yes.
There are poor leaders around that are,
Yes.
that
Yes.
are power mad people. And we need people to be more compassionate. We need people to reach across the boundaries, reach across the political aisles, reach across countries, and be friends with each other and help each other. This little blue and green planet is a wonderful place that we need to take care of. We need to take care of. We don't need to be firing nuclear bombs off. We need to be friends with each other. We need a little more love in the world. And I think that's our message, Nickie, that there are things, there are circumstances that we've been subjected to.
Right.
And, you know, praise the Lord type of thing. Thank you for being given, thank you for having personally been given the strength, the guidance to be able to share that message with people, so that hopefully we can stimulate that. Heck, you know, I can do that. I want to know about that. Because when people inquire, when people want to know, they're going to find us. And there is a growing tribe of people like you and I.
Yes.
And I think we're the future.
I do too. I do too. And I want to piggyback on that real fast. One of the things that I tell my sexual abuse audience is I want to write a goal. You got to have long range goals, but you mostly have to have also a short range. What you just mentioned it, Nigel. What am I going to accomplish tomorrow? What do I want my day to look like? You need a checklist. You got to check it off, because the more you check it off, the more you can open your chest up. If you want to beat your chest, whatever the heck you want to do. I'm a girl, so I'm not big on beating my chest, but it's it's just to say, hey, I can do this. Hey, I can move forward. That's one of the biggest magnets, I would say, when you attend Tony Robbins events. You learn how to channel energy, and you learn how to master you. See, because that is the most important thing that you can offer is you. How can I control me?
You, that's correct.
I don't want to live in the past. And you know, Nigel, you just said that about with the people not having the high energy. Let them know, you know, Nigel, and Nigel is teaching these people how to cope and to understand. Yes, you might feel down today, but there's tomorrow. You don't.
You can't stay there.
You can't stay there. The past.
You can't stay there.
That's right. Go ahead, Nigel.
It's unreasonable to expect you to be happy all the time. I have my moments. I'll tell you a story now. I used to teach my older children that are in their 30s. I used to teach them, you know, it's okay to have a bad day. It's okay, but you can't stay there. That's not your character. Your character is you're a smart. We're fighters. We bounce back. So learn that you can't stay in your pity party. And I won't allow it. You have to bounce back. I had a bad time when I was going through my divorce, and I flew into London. My son was attending university there. And I stopped. I was coming back from the Far East, and I stopped off the plane, and I went into London, and we had lunch together. And he said, "Come on, Dad, you're a bit down. You're a bit down." And then I had my taste of the student becoming the mentor, and I switched places with him. Because what happened was, he said, "Come on, Dad, remember what you always taught me?" He said, "I know you're having a bad day, but you've had too many bad days. You can't stay there. Snap out of it." He said, "You taught me that a long time ago, and it stood me in good stead since." And I thought, I brought tears to my eyes. I said, "I guess you were listening then." He said, "Of course I was listening. Everything you ever taught me was right." And I said, "No, it wasn't. I just had more experience than you." And life gives you that.
That's right. That's what living does for you. And if you decide that you can't go further, don't go and take yourself out. Get somebody like Nigel. Check out somebody like me. Check out somebody like Tony Robbins. These are mentors. And by the way, Tony Robbins is my mentor. I have to admit that. And I totally enjoy Marilyn Warner. I do. I have a great passion here for my fellow author, Nigel Smart. And so as we grow into this world, we have to look at the past. See, the past is where you came from. And you can't stay there. But so what you do, you navigate yourself to right here, right now. You can't just, it's impossible. Don't be foolish. Don't think you're going to come from that past and shoot and go straight to the future. That's not going to happen. You're going to have some up and down moments. And I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, please continue. You're on a roll.
Okay, thank you. You're going to have some up and down moments. I love you, Nigel. They're going to have, but you got to start right here. See, be real. Keep it real. You start right here. And then you build, you set goals, and you check it off. And watch your shoulders go back. Watch your neck come up long. You might even get that shaking the head. Now, Nigel is available. And his book, let me tell you where you can buy his book, as well as my own. Nigel's book is featured on Amazon.com. And when you get Nigel's book, be sure and give him a review. No one understands how important reviews are to authors. See, it's a type of algorithm that the Amazon's platform use. What they do is they'll see who's doing what are people saying, how much are they selling. It doesn't mean if you have less numbers selling that your book is not as valuable, but what it does say is that this book is getting more exposure. So let's advertise it a little bit more. So make sure you give him a review. I'm going to say 5-star. If you don't think he's good enough to give him no 5-star, don't come giving him no 2 and no 3, bringing down his numbers. Bring his numbers up. We here in this group to help bring people up. So 5, 5, 5, that's what I'm asking for. And my book too. All those that have been raped, all those that have had problems with sex trafficking, human trafficking, abuse. You get this book because this is where all of my information is going to come from, my sharing 5 tools of what I used, because every one of you don't always have a lot of money to have a psychiatrist. They are tons of dollars per hour. So get it, get my book, get Nigel's book. Nigel, please hold the book up, please. This is Nigel, Bouncing Back from Divorce with Vitality and Purpose, a strategy for dads. I love this fella for thinking on that line, because none of us hardly ever think of the man in a divorce.
You know, last week I had the privilege of listening to a number of other speakers on something that I attended. And one of the guys that really gripped me was a gentleman called Eric Thomas. Talk about being on fire, this guy, wonderful speaker. And one of the things that struck me was he said, "You're fit. You are fit to do this. You are fit to take control of your life.
That's right.
You are fit and you can do this, but you need to be emotionally as well as physically conditioned. And so these types of things that you and I are talking about, these types of exercises that we do with ourselves mentally, that form good habits, these are the things that put us on the road, on the rail track, that will take us to what I call the, down the yellow brick road to the Emerald City on the hill. I always think about that. I always think of, I want to be back in Kansas, clicking your
Wizard
Ruby
of
tunes.
Oz.
I always think that way. I like to talk in metaphors, and I like to talk in terms of things that people understand. Other people say, you're always talking cars, Nigel. I said, well, guys, a lot of women too understand cars. They understand when I talk in car metaphors, And
I love them.
But one of the things that is interesting is people will say to you when you're trying to grow, I don't understand what it is you're trying to do. I don't understand why you want to do this. And I heard, I forget the name of the speaker, but it's a truism that, well, why should you think that you can understand what my dreams are? Why would you expect to understand my dreams? My dreams were given to me by my God.
Right.
He's got different dreams for you. So
Right.
why would you think that you can dream my dreams? Just support my dreams,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe use my dreams as a measure or as a stimulation to generate your own dreams, for you to go and chase your dreams.
That's right.
But dreams are one thing. People will call you a dreamer. Yeah, I'm a dreamer. I always have been.
Mm-hmm.
But dreams only come true when you take action.
That's
Nickie.
right.
And
That's
most
right.
people are dreamers. They say, oh, I hope this, I hope this, and I hope this, and I hope that, and pray this, and pray that. Well, I believe that God's listening. But also God's sort of saying to us, well, that's all right, Nickie, but you've got to do your part too. Nigel, you've got to do your part too.
Right.
And I think that we've got to show that, okay, this is a partnership. I'm in this. We're in this together.
Mm-hmm.
And it may be that I can't do it all on my own. So I've got to find a Nickie. I've got to find a Nigel. I've got to find a Tony to help me, to guide me, to get me there. And do you really want to have to do this all by yourself, where you're bumbling around in the dark? Let's face it, we've all been there. You can get there faster with the help of not only a mentor, but also in a group of people that think the same way, that will encourage you. The great thing, I want to talk to your audience about this. The great thing about our group, our author group, is that we have accountability coaches. I mean, I have so many accountability coaches in the various things that I'm doing. It's like, I feel like I've got a cheerleading group always on my back. But that's how you get things done. If I say to you, Nickie, you've got to get this thing, you've got to get this next assignment done by next Friday. And if you don't, I'm going to come down and hound you. It's like, oh, hell. Now, you're probably going to think twice about not getting it done. If you say, oh, yeah, can you try and get it done in the next 6 weeks? You're probably going to leave it to the last minute, and then there'll be a problem and you'll say, oh, I'm sorry. The way to get things done is to have somebody that says, you can tell somebody, I want to lose 25 pounds in the next 2 months. Will you help me make sure that I do my diet, do my exercises, get enough sleep, and drink lots of water, which is really important to hydrate. Right. Anyway, certainly when you're trying to lose weight. You need somebody to do that, because there's going to be days, and I have this, where it's like, oh, I'll put it off tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. Oh, there's something else. You start making excuses. You start doing the easy things, don't you?
Yes, you do. And that's procrastination. And some of us need more motivation. Some do, and some don't. In this group, this tribe for our authors, I had to learn to do things the way that the organization required.
Right.
What I mean by that is I couldn't go in there doing it just the way I wanted to, even though I did that at the beginning, until I learned to get a new mindset.
Right.
And you have to adapt and adjust if you want to be a part of that. If it's not something for you, then move on and find what is for you. But procrastination is a killer of any and everybody. Nigel is telling you, everybody, doesn't matter who you are. Sometimes you need a coach. You need a mentor. You cannot do it alone. I don't care how smart you are. Sometimes you need help, and that's what having a tribe does for you. But you can't go in there want everybody to adjust to your ways. I
Right.
thought that when I first went in that Nigel. I did. I was like, oh, I'm here, but I'm gonna do it this way and I'm gonna do it that way, Nigel. And then I kind of learned that's not the way they do it. You got to learn how to adapt and adjust. And again, everything starts with a mindset. Would you
It
agree?
does, and it's the greatest gift that you can give anybody is that adaptability. I teach people get used to change because it's the one constant other than death and taxes going
Oh yeah.
forward.
Oh
If
yeah.
you, I say get comfortable with being uncomfortable. When you're uncomfortable, you're growing. When you're uncomfortable, you're stretching. When you're uncomfortable, you're not complacent. You can't be, because you're in that state. You're in that edgy situation all the time.
That's
So
right.
if you can be stretching, you're growing. If you're not, if you're complacent, in real terms, you're going backwards in the world and in terms of your own development. And we want people to be the best that they can be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, go on. I want to ask you, in your teachings, guys, Nadu does the same thing, and both of us do one-on-one coaching as well as group coaching. So if you find yourself in need, you can get in touch with Nadu. You can get in touch with me, and there are so many other people there. But let me ask you this, Nadu. Do you find yourself sometimes as a coach, seeing after you have met certain people, some people, and after you have started the process of listening to them and working with their mindset, have you ever found that they are not really interested in changing? They just want to stay back here in the past and have somebody to join them in the woe is me party?
Oh, of course. It's it's often described this way. We have thermostats within us, and just like a thermostat on your house, where when it's too warm, the air conditioning cuts in, and when it's too cold, the thing comes in. It's the same with us. If we get out of what we think is our temperature zone, something inside kicks in, and this is to come back to what you're saying about mindset. It's whether or not you feel worthy.
There you go.
People that it's a well-known fact that people that win the lottery, most they can win hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, and within 2 or 3 years they're all broke. And how can that be? It's because they don't think they're worthy of the money that they have, and so they're out of control in the way they get rid of it. Because and psychologically, there are studies that show that people believe that they're not worthy of the money, so they get rid of it. It sounds ridiculous, but it's a fact.
Yeah.
And so what we have to do, and we've been stressing this in your interview now, that you've got to work on yourself. You've got to work on your mindset. You've got to believe that you're not an imposter, that you are fit, you are worthy, and you can do this. And if you apply yourself repeatedly, Tony Robbins, we've mentioned him a number of times. He's a great mentor and he's a great teacher of both of us. He says repetition is a mother of skills. Repetition is a mother of skills. What does that mean? It means that you do things over and over again in terms of it becomes second nature. We don't think about breathing now. We have something called the autonomic nervous system. It does it automatically. when we drive stick shift cars, going back a few years, I know most people are in automatics. We don't actually think, oh, we've got to push the clutch in now and come off the gas and then change and then do this. We do it automatically. It's second nature. What we need to do is to get these habits to become second nature. The problem with creating good habits and good processes is we know from studies that went on in NASA back when the Apollo missions were on, that it takes about 25 to 35 days to create new habits. What they did was they turned the glasses round on these astronauts and then got them to do tasks, and they were seeing things upside down. And it took them about a month of wearing these glasses, and then they were able to function pretty much the way they were before. So that told us your brain takes about a month to rewire itself for new situations. So we know that we need to do at least 30 days of doing anything every day, and then it gets ingrained in us, and then we don't think about it anymore. And these are the habits and rituals, you know, I talk about them in the book as a starter. These are the things that you and I have learned. You have to do this. It's a must. You know, the great thing about people when they start to do this, they say, oh, I can't do that. I can't do that. And then, well, maybe I can do that after they've had a few lessons. And then they get from maybe I can do that. And then they say, I can do this.
Right.
And then after a bit further, they say, I gotta do this. I must do this. I'm doing this.
Yes.
And seeing that transformation, it's a wonderful thing, because people now have got a light inside themselves, and it becomes a beautiful thing. You can see that they've grown, that they're now the person that they were always meant to be, that somehow was crushed inside of them, that somebody probably in school, like it was with me, where they said, no, you don't go any further. Well, I said, nah, to hell with that. I've been a fighter all my life. I was told a failure at 11. I had a PhD at the age of 24 from one of the best universities in England. So I wasn't going to lie down. You have to treat adversity as a gift. As a gift to stimulate you to be better.
Yes.
And you must learn continuously.
That's
never
right.
Give up. Winston Churchill says, never, never, never give up. And I've got that as an English boy that's now an American citizen. I have that in the back of my head all the time. I say, come on, Nigel, you can do this. All right, maybe not fully today, but you can do a bit. Let's just do a little bit, and then we'll pick the rest up tomorrow. And I make a bargain with myself. But again, never leave the sight of where you need to make a change without picking up a pen and doing something. Commit yourself. Put yourself out there. Don't you think so?
I do. And every day you have to work on you. You are the most important factor in your life. You love your children, at least you're supposed to. But your children cannot be number one if you are not taking care of you. If you don't take care of you, you cannot teach your children to be warriors and to be great and to tap into that greatness that they have inside of themselves. And if they never tap, if they never are taught how to tap, and they never choose to just go out and adventure and do it like I did, then they'll never grow and see the better version of them. You got to change you every day. We're running out of time here, but I meditate every day, but I started, Nigel, listening to Jim Rowe and several other artists that are around, and every day he says, you have to build you. You have to have discipline to be the best version of Nickie B. Smith, Nigel Smart, we can be.
We can. And just a final point along those lines, you know, the airline people always tell you when you get on a plane, if anything happens, we lose pressure, you put your own mask on first before you help other people.
Before you help anybody else. Because
that's what you've got to do with this. You've got to take care of yourself, otherwise you can't take care of your family.
You can't take care of anybody if you don't love you. And that
That's right.
starts with self-love. And for some of you, it is a very hard task. But if you don't quit, never, never, never quit. If you don't quit, then you got a chance of seeing that winning person. But I guarantee you this, and you can take it to the bank. You quit, you never see it. You
That's
never
right.
see it. Okay, guys, I have had a wonderful time today. Nigel, it's been a blessing, and you have just been fantastic. And y'all, we're getting ready to wind it down. We're running a little bit short, but Nigel, I am so pleased for you to come on the show, my friend. I pray that this doesn't be the last time, and maybe we can get together and put our heads together and do something to help others with our brains working together. Okay.
I'd love that. Thank you for the
Thank
invitation.
you. And I love throwing kisses, Nigel. I throw them to everybody that comes on the show. So you guys, thank you for attending the Nickie V. Smith Show. I know that you could have been anywhere else, but you took the time to be here. And I thank you so much. Here's your kiss, and we're going to say good night for the day. Thank you. Bye-bye.